Hey guys, Ben Paynes here, and today we are back once again for another Monday night social event at Teamsport Bristol. Now, before we get into the video, I have noticed that around 50% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so if you aren't already, could you please hit the subscribe button down below and like the video if you do enjoy, as it really does benefit me and it really motivates me to push on and make some more videos for you guys. As always, my Instagram is also linked in the description, so if you do want to get in contact with me on a more personal level, that is below for you to view. Now, as we jump into the video right away, I will start by saying that there were no blistering lap times. There wasn't any super fast times. You can see straight away a 39.112, and this was in fact the second session of 3 that I performed on the Monday night, and this was also the hottest session that I've ever done. It was actually one of the hottest days in the UK ever recorded, and I was just really happy to be able to get out on the track and really give it my all, despite actually feeling like I wanted to pass out as I was driving around the track. And here straight away you can see there's a huge amount of cars, so we've just gone past one there. He tries to go back round on the left hand side, that is Jack there. And then we also have Connor, who is the head mechanic ahead of me here, and I really wanted to try and stay behind him if I could in this session. He, as you can see, is right in front of me, and I never usually get that privilege to follow his lines and see how he tries to overtake people. So as you can see there, he darts down the inside of one driver, and therefore I wanted to stay behind him as closely as possible. I noticed that we did actually take similar lines to begin with, so you can see they're going quite wide into the first corner. I really wanted to try in this session to really work on my pedal control through that top double hairpin section, because that was one of the sections where I did feel that I lost a lot of time. You can see straight away Connor has pulled away a little bit in there. My last lap was a 39.637, so we really need to improve on this if we want to get anywhere near a decent lap time. So once again, we are aiming for a 37-second lap in this session. I really wanted to try and swing the car, you can see there, in as tight as possible to the apex of the bottom hairpin. And that's one thing I noticed in this session, is that the slower I went into the corners, the faster exit I was able to have, which is something that I don't usually have. And I usually go in quite hot into corners and usually quite fast, and this results in me sliding on the exit and sliding into it as well. You can see there kind of just getting away a little bit as we bring our lap time down to a 38.670, which is half a second off my fastest lap so far. And obviously I was willing to improve on this throughout the session. We had a couple of karts up ahead. One goes a little bit wide, and this means that Connor can dart down the inside, and me and my haster didn't really want to lose Connor or let him get away, so I really got up behind this car here and I dived down the inside and actually did a really clean and simple move just to get ahead of the kart behind me, and I was able to push on throughout the session. I was really happy with this, as I feel that my overtaking is getting a little bit more confident. I'm able to dart down the inside of other karts a lot more than I was a couple of weeks or even a month ago. You can see straight away there once more a 38.560 lap time, so the lap times are beginning to come down. I was getting even more smooth coming out of the bottom hairpin, and this actually allowed me to gain some time on Connor ahead. Usually he is able to pull away and really sort of excel around the track, as he knows it very well, and he's able to understand the karts a lot more than other people. And here once again I did lose a little bit of time coming out of the second hairpin, which is something that I was trying to learn, trying to maximise my exit on. And also the bottom hairpin, I was a little bit shaky. However, despite this, we did get a 38.415, and I was getting really tight into the first 2 corners there, and you can see how much time this is actually helping me to gain. Now on the exit I was compromising myself a little bit, but just the amount of traction I was able to take going into the corner meant that I was able to really catch up compared to taking a wider line like a lot of the other drivers were on the evening, as this did extend the track quite significantly compared to the shorter line that I was taking. You see there Connor looking back once more, and I was able to get really tight to the apex there on those 2 corners. And then as we come down the straight, we come across the line with a 38.157, which I was really happy with. This was really close to a 37-second lap, and I felt in myself that that lap really did come together quite well. I gained quite a lot of time on the people ahead of me. You can see there Connor going down the inside, and the driver there sort of bumping into me as they come out of the wall, but I did try and force my way down the inside as well. So staying behind him once more, I really wanted to try and stay in the slipstream, try and stay in a good place, but the driver behind me dived down the inside and this sort of compromised my line coming out of the first hairpin, and this meant I was then stuck behind the driver in kart number 20. You can see all of that ruckus sort of led me down to a 39.732 lap time, so a really slow one compared to the lap previously, and therefore all my momentum in the last few laps has sort of been stunted. And at this point in the session I felt that I was a little bit stuck behind the driver ahead of me. I tried to go down the inside, got a little bit greedy, so I decided to let the driver back through, but then he sort of really forced me into the barrier, which I was a little bit annoyed about, I'll be honest, but I just thought that my move to begin with probably was a little bit forceful and unreasonable, and therefore I just let it go. But we do come across this lap with 39.894, so clearly one of my slowest laps of the session, and this was detriment to being forced into the barrier, being unable to carry any traction through the top half of the lap. But here once more I really want to try and get back into a rhythm, back into my groove, and set some good lap times. So you could see there at the bottom of the ramp I really did ease off to try and let the driver ahead of me pull away, but you could see already through the top two sections I really have closed the gap, almost pushing them through the corners, and therefore I decided in my head that I did need to try and make an overtake on the driver ahead straight away, back down to a 38.589, so really able to find the grip and find the traction in the corners compared to the driver ahead of me. You can see as well that I was on about a shorter line through the first corner. The driver ahead of me really took a wide line going into the corner, almost sliding through it, whereas I was able to coast around and be really tight to the apexes, and this meant that I minimised the track length a lot more, and I was also able to carry a lot more speed through as the car wasn't bogging down by being sideways through those first two corners. And here again you can see I'm able to keep the car a lot more planted compared to the driver ahead of me who has it almost sideways through the last corner, but I did have a 38.9 second lap there, and I felt that I was being a bit held up here, so I was trying to find some sort of time or a bit of pace around one of the corners to really try and make an overtake. I was getting quite close on the bottom hairpin, but I didn't have the run up the ramp to try and get an overtake done on my favourite overtaking corner, as you guys know from watching previous videos. So through the second part of the lap, going down the hill once more, you can see he's gaining so much time from being a lighter driver compared to me, and also my exit out of the second hairpin is never up to scratch to where I want it to be. However, we did come across a line with 38.429, so the lapse times are beginning to come back down once more. I tried to go right to left, I tried to force my way down the inside, but I found that the kart had a little bit too much braking and it slid a bit too much. You see the driver as well just cutting me up a little bit, trying to defend, and I was a little bit disappointed because I didn't really want to have a race. I didn't really want to have a defensive and attacking session, as I was just trying to get a 37-second lap as I was going around. I could tell that I was getting quite close because the car in this session felt it was very grippy compared to the first one where it was sliding around all over the place. And in my first session my fastest lap was a 38.6, so I knew that I had the time in me this session, and I also knew that I was able to keep pace with Connor, who was ahead of me at the start. You can see now from all the fighting that's been going on, he's no longer seeable on my screen. He's shot off into the distance. You can see him now on the left, overtaking another two drivers ahead of myself and the driver ahead of me. So I really didn't have a chance to catch up with him again for the rest of the session, which I was a little bit disappointed in, as I thought that he would be able to tow me around the track and show me some of the faster lines. But there once more the times are coming back down with 38.376. There are some yellow flags, so I did slow down a little bit. However, I probably didn't slow down enough. You could see that the driver there on the right was spun out into the hairpin. I'm not entirely sure how they ended up facing backwards and not the right way in that situation, as they would have had to have done a 180-degree turn before the corner. So that's something that really did shock me when I came around. Usually someone is ended up in the wall, not facing the complete opposite way before the turn has even been reached. You can see, however, in this situation that we did all get bunched up under the yellow flags. I do believe quite a few of us were driving a little bit too fast under the yellows. I take a huge shunt in the back and I had to shake my head because I did feel that my brain was a little bit rattled inside my skull. However, we did go round behind the driver in the orange suit once more, and we really wanted to try and keep the gap and not let them get too far ahead, as we were able to keep pace with them throughout the rest of the session. You can see straight away they dive it down the inside of the driver from last week that we were following in our same weight category, but they were unable to make the move stick. They try again to go down the inside but think better of it, and therefore I decided to remain behind and wait for an opportunity to complete an overtake. As we come across the line here, we do get a 39-second dead, so not a very quick lap, but that was a little bit of a warm-up for the rest of the laps to come. We get really tight to the driver ahead in number 20 coming through the first couple of corners. I was able to get a really good run coming out of the bottom hairpin too, but unfortunately he was able to pull away up the ramp and make an overtake on the driver ahead of him, and this was something I was looking to do in the time before the end of the session, getting really tight to the driver in the blue suit. See, they're not happy with their exit and being overtaken by the driver ahead of me, and I really was pushing them across the line here. You can see really ducking into their slipstream as well, and we come across the line now at 38.593, so still not the fastest lap. I really was putting the driver ahead of me under a lot of pressure, almost pushing them through the whole bottom section of the track. They do wave me past as well because they realise that I am putting in some faster laps than them, and I dived it down the inside down, my favourite overtaking corner, repositioned myself in the seat and got ready to go after the driver in the orange suit once more. We come down the ramp looking to take a nice, clean and tidy line compared to him. You can see no sliding from myself, able to get really smooth on the pedals. I was checking back to see if the person I overtook was putting me under any pressure or if they had backed off, and to my surprise they did actually seem to back off a little bit rather than follow me through as much as I thought they would. Come around the bottom hairpin here, really hooking it up and sliding in with the slip angle, able to release it on the exit, and this meant I could have a lot more momentum coming out of the corner, maximising the track on the exit of the fast right hander at the top, and trying to swing left and right through the top two hairpins, once more down to the bottom hairpin, getting really tight to the apexes. You could see I closed up a lot of time on the driver ahead, and we come across the line now with 38.057, and that was in fact my fastest lap of the session. So unfortunately, once again, I was unable to reach a 37-second lap. However, I was very happy with this due to the fact that the karts were running extremely hot in the weather, and I guess I would say that it is extreme circumstances, so I'm going to let myself off. There was a bit of fatigue at this point in the session as well, as there was so much sweat in my helmet that I would say it was a bit of a lake, and it was starting to sting my eyes a bit. And the main thing was that I still enjoyed it and I still had fun. You can see again being a bit more consistent at 38.185, but unable to reach the 37-second laps just for the fact that I did feel that I was being held up a little bit by the driver ahead of me, like almost pushing them through the bottom hairpin, unfortunately propelling them up the ramp with that bit of pushing rather than being able to gain the traction and time to get past them. And this was a theme for the whole video and the whole session. I was unable to get past the driver ahead of me, and this meant that I was stuck behind them and unable to reach a 37-second lap. Once more we were bunched up. As you can see, the driver on the right did have a bit of a spin on the big right hander at the bottom of the hairpin. As I'm warming up, getting ready to perform another faster lap when the lights go green, unfortunately you can see that the timer in the top right has stopped ticking, and as you look to the left you can see the checkered flag, so that was unfortunately the last lap of the session. This is one that I really enjoyed, as it really helped me to manage my endurance in the hot weather and maintain focus throughout. I was in fact the second fastest driver of the session too, which I was really happy with. On that note, please leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more in the future. I have another event coming very soon which I hope you'll watch. Leave a comment down below and message me on Instagram for updates. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.